Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'd appreciate it so much. I'm Eris, and today I wanted to get into talking about spiritual abilities or spiritual gifts and how it actually goes hand in hand with God. Okay? When it comes to Christianity, or even just in some communities of believing in God, there can be a lot of judgment surrounding things like spiritual gifts or spiritual abilities. When I say that, I'm saying things like premonitions, or people who have prophetic dreams, or people who can see spirits, etc., etc., etc. If you don't believe in these things, then feel free to click off. This may not be the video for you. God has definitely blessed the anointed with spiritual gifts and abilities, and it's in the Bible. Let's not forget that Joseph was a whole dream interpreter, and he also had prophetic dreams. God blessed Joseph with those abilities. And I also want to say that everybody talks to God in their own way. God comes to each and every single one of us in our own individual way that we can understand. God comes to some people in dreams. God comes to others through speaking, through testimonies online. God comes to others through the word of God, through church. There's just so many different ways to connect with God. Some people hear God just out in nature while they're by themselves. Whatever way that is, I feel like in some communities it can be related to being called like demonic or weird, or it's not of God, when that is so far from the truth. And let's not forget, what does Matthew chapter 7 verse 1 say? It says, and I quote, "Judge not, that you be not judged, for with what judgment you judge, you will be judged." Okay, I just had to pull that out real quick, because it's very important that we understand everyone has their own individual relationship with God. And that's pretty much what I really wanted to get to here. And I have some notes here. Envy of spiritual gifts is actually something that stems from that negative energy, whether you want to call it the devil, whether you want to call it demonic energies, or the spirit of condemnation, the spirit of negativity, the spirit of the devil, whatever you want to call it. That envy, or trying to say, I want to say trying to rebuke those things in the name of God, that in itself is not of God. And if we become so busy trying to condemn others and how they go to God, it really just shows how much further we have drawn away from God. Okay? Yes. Because and everyone has their own path where they are learning the things that they need to know. How they learn those things, as long as they're learning it through God, that's all that matters. And so the way that they go to God may also be different. The way that God talks to them may be different. And I really wanted to make this video because I feel like there's just a lot of fear surrounding the unknown, and a lot of fear surrounding things that we can't understand. I wanted to, reading from my notes, I wanted to say, the position and promise God has may elevate us beyond those we have known, even those that we love as well. So sometimes that, I want to say, spirit of condemnation regarding our spiritual gifts, or regarding our abilities, or just those who are anointed, it could very likely come from the people we love most. And for a lot of anointed, it starts with family. It starts with family, just like Joseph, where the very first people he began to speak those prophetic dreams to were his family. And if you will go out online and call somebody demonic because the way their spiritual gifts, or the way that they talk to God, shows up through a certain way you don't understand, then you are no better than Joseph's brothers, who threw him in the pit, hoping that no one would hear of these dreams. But see, the plan that God has is so much bigger than all of us. The lesson is, just as we see our gifts, so do others, especially negative forces masked as those we care for. Some of these negative forces may try to plot out of envy or desire to own those gifts, or own that form of authority. Now, the thing about authority is it is lended to us from God. At least that's my belief, okay? I believe that God lends us that authority, because I do believe that our souls are eternal, our hearts are eternal. So while these bodies are the ones that we are in, we are lending from God the authority to wield these spiritual gifts. So I feel like, you know, some people are able to get up and prophesize just by speaking the word of God. And others are able to get the information they need from God simply by praise and worship. And those things are much more widely accepted. But my point is, you're still going to have those people in the church pews who are looking out of envy, who are wishing that was them, who are wishing that they could take the voice that God has given to those who are speaking. The fear that people have created around things that are from God simply because they don't have them, or simply because they don't resonate with it. Imagine if Joseph brothers had, you know, wore Joseph down and convinced him that he didn't have gifts and he wasn't special and he wasn't talking to God in the way that he was talking to God. Joseph was able to break down those dreams, and he said in his own words that Genesis chapter 40 verse 8, it says, "So Joseph said to them, 'Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell them to me, please.'" Okay, so I want to make this video an encouragement to all the cuties and beauties that have spiritual gifts or are anointed and are actually being harshly condemned by other people who may say they believe in God, or other people who are in the church who are trying to convince them that, oh, that's of the devil, or those things that you hear, see, dream, whatever it is, or those things, the way that you're able to help people. I'm here to tell you that it's a part of your purpose, babe. It's a part of your purpose. God already knew what he was doing with you, and those people envy that. Let them, pray for them. That's what I'm going to say on that. Let them and pray for them. So, reading from my notes, it says, "There are promised gifts to the anointed that upon seeing those gifts within us, negative forces may be triggered by." And trigger does not necessarily have to be a bad thing. We can trigger people in positive ways, okay? And trigger people to grow in ways they otherwise wouldn't have if we hadn't triggered them. So, let's keep going. "Some of the loved ones who are masked negative spirits have been placed in our lives by the devil as surveillance. This is a tactic so they may be able to note any changes in our behaviors and habits over the years." There is so many anointed out there who have at least one person they grew up with, grew around, or have had in their life for years before they recognize that this person was a negative spirit in disguise, okay? So many anointed have so many stories about the kinds of people that have been doing surveillance on them over the years, watching them, studying, and just wearing them down, just like Delilah did to Samson, wearing him down day after day after day. And they do this so that they can try to manipulate the anointed to use those gifts and use those abilities that they say are of the devil, that they say are so horrible and so bad and so negative. Use those gifts to their advantage, okay? And that's what it's all about. It's a manipulation tactic, and it is a form to distort your view of your self-worth and your view of your purpose. Your purpose is to help thousands and millions, and negative energies may try to distort that and get you to think that you're bad, or there's something wrong with you, or there's something defective about you, and that's just not true. So that I could talk to the anointed here for a second, just me and you, anointed to anointed, okay? I want you to know that this is a part of your purpose, my love, and you're going to make it through this. All I can say is ask God to deliver you from those negative spirits, negative forces, negative energies, people, places, and things. Ask God to deliver you, and ask God to be your rock, okay? Because you got this, and you're going to touch so many people, so many lives, and those negative spirits, negative forces know that. And that is why they may try to target you heavily. That's why they may try to get you to believe that you're bad, because they can't take your gifts, they can't take your power, they cannot do anything except distort it or try to get you to feel less than, so that you do not tap into it. And I'm here to tell you, tap into it, lean into it, embrace those spiritual gifts, embrace the calling and the power of the anointed, embrace the authority that God has lended to you through these gifts. and make use of them. Practice with them, because they're going to go on to help so many people. So yes, my beautiful anointed, have a beautiful, blessed day, night, morning, evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this message. Hit that like button and subscribe if you did, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.